Welcome into another episode of the Whitesea Pod. We're recording on May 12th. The Warriors and Timberwolves haven't even finished their game yet. They're playing right now. It's the fourth quarter with like 2.5 minutes to go. I just thought I'd get started early because I wasn't enjoying watching that game, and I knew I wanted to do this podcast, so I thought I would start. A dramatic day in the NBA today. A lot to unpack. Some good, some bad, some personally annoying because I'm a Warriors fan. Um, but Giannis, he has indicated that he's open to a future beyond the Milwaukee Bucks. So lots of speculation there. And it also made the draft lottery very interesting. We had the Dallas Mavericks with 1.8% chance of getting the number one pick. They end up with the number one pick just after the Dallas WNBA team got the number one pick. So we're gonna get another chapter of the um, Nico Harrison book coming very shortly. We're gonna see what he does with that pick. It, I mean, the silver lining there is that the Dallas Maverick fans will hopefully have another, franchise player that they can kind of take in and rally around. But who I was very excited for some of the other teams to potentially get the number one pick. Dallas has had it before, and I would have liked to see Cooper Flag maybe go somewhere else. I also wanted Um, Nico Harrison. I keep thinking Nico. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Um, Nico Harrison to. I feel like he's got bailed out. But we're gonna see what he actually does with it. Do they draft Cooper Flag? Do they trade him for maybe there's a Giannis package there, Giannis and AD? Does he trade it for someone else? We'll see what he does with this, and if he can further dig the hole for himself in Dallas of unpopularity. We'll see. San Antonio with the second pick. That is very interesting. They have their guys, so it kind of would have felt unfair, maybe overkill, and maybe even rigged if they had gotten the first pick. But they get the second pick, which is going to be a quality choice. So, really cool that they get to add another young, good piece to the Wemby core. And then Philly got the third pick, which good for them. They kind of need something positive over there. Paul George has been a huge bust, and Embiid is just perpetually frustrating, and yeah, good for them. So let's get to some of the actual games that happened today because there was a lot that happened. The Knicks and Celtics played earlier today. It was a really good game that was capped off by a very unfortunate event, one that you probably heard of about already. But I was really excited for this game because for the Knicks, like if you go up 3-1, that's huge for your prospects of winning this series. Versus if it's 2-2 again, you're on an even playing field, and that means the Celtics have just won the last two and that they have momentum. But going into this game, the Knicks had expressed in each of their games so far that they could not go down by 20, just as they had been doing earlier in the series and having to play from behind. And early on, it looked like that was what was going to happen. It was 13-4 right off the bat, and the I was thinking, oh, come on, guys, like you're gonna do this to yourselves again. It was 13-4, and then within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it was 16-17 Knicks. So it was really good to see them not let themselves get down in that way and to rally back. And they actually went into the fourth quarter of this game with a 3-point lead, which is really cool. But this game was awesome because there was so much good shot making going on. To start the game, Derek White was 4 for 4 from threes. He came out guns a-blazing. And then between Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and uh, Jalen Brunson, they were making some incredible jump shots. Like there's one where Jalen Brunson's in the corner and Jalen Brunson had some space. Derek White is closing out on him, and Jalen Brunson pump fakes, Derek White goes by him, but Derek White is smart enough to not, just run out of the screen. He is close enough to where he would still be able to contest and potentially bother the Jalen Brunson shot when he goes up again. But then Jalen Brunson takes a small dribble to his left, which left Derek White out of the picture, and he hit a great shot there. OG Anunoby was making big shots. Mikal Bridges would routinely find himself like in the lane. He would penetrate and get into that mid range, and he was just leaning back, leaning sideways, flicking the ball towards the rim, and it was pure. It was butter all night. It was awesome. So the Knicks had a great shooting game. I was also looking for a Karl Anthony Towns showing. He's been kind of quiet this series, and I was thinking like he can explode for offense one of these games, and the Knicks need him to. He played really well actually on the defensive end today. He had a couple blocks, he had some big rebounds, and then he made some shots down by the rim that were really big. So I was happy to see that. Jason Tatum, more on him in a minute, but he was going crazy with the shots he was making. He, he was just pulling up from mid range, from three, getting to the rim. He had, he had like 39 points going into the fourth quarter, something like that. And I was really proud of him actually because he was saying, okay, like I'm not letting us go down. I'm gonna beat the guy. And he rose to the occasion. He was doing everything right. And unfortunately, I forgot what time in the fourth quarter, but it was still a game, and it was heating up to be a really great like duel back and forth between Brunson and the Knicks and Jason Tatum and the Celtics with their shot making. And Jason Tatum, there's a loose ball. He lunges forward, like steps with his right leg forward. There's not really any contact with him, and he just goes down. And I haven't seen somebody look like they were in that much pain in a long time. He's covering his face. It it looked really bad just from one person to another. Like you never want to see anyone deal with that kind of pain, but just also like the added weight of shit. My season is probably over. My next season is messed up. My team needed me. Like we were coming back in the series. There's just so much that was so shitty about it. And it, what was just really sad, the last thing is him being. They had the camera down the tunnel for the locker room, and he was being rolled out in a wheelchair, and he had his hands over his eyes. I just felt so bad for him. Like usually, sometimes I can be annoyed by some of his lack of originality and lack of like emotion and charisma, but he was balling today, and uh, it really sucks to see such a big and impactful injury. And now, like, good for the Knicks. They are likely going to win this series now. Um, but it just sucks for the Celtics, and like it's always just annoying, or like you don't want to have a playoff series decided by an injury. That said, that made me think, okay, well, what can the Celtics do moving forward? What can Jaylen Brown do? I I barely even, other than a couple of terrible fouls that he had today, he didn't even like make his presence known at all today. He's the reigning Finals MVP, and he was nowhere to be seen really. It's like I was texting with my friends like, does he even like basketball? Like, he it doesn't look like he's having fun. He is not like being aggressive. There's not that emotion, that fire from him that we sometimes see. Like, he's probably one of the most athletic guys on the court, and he was doing crazy plays last year, like threes, like falling out of bounds, like getting to the rim, insane dunks, like finishing around the rim. Like I don't know what is up with him, but he is not making his. like impact on the series, and not really sure what to think about it. But Knicks are going to be likely headed to the Eastern Conference Finals. Really, really cool for that city. I love visiting New York, and nice to see those fans when they're super hyped up. Before the end of that game, they were showing the Warriors and Timberwolves warming up. Anthony Edwards was warming up with he had a hoop earring in, and I was thinking, I really hope he doesn't summon his inner MJ tonight because the Warriors needed this game just to extend the series with the hopes of Steph Curry coming back. And in the beginning of the game, it looked like the Warriors might actually be able to take this one because they have been lacking on offense the past two games, the past three games, and they're just not able to hang with the Wolves. And so they were playing really good offense. Like Jonathan Kuminga was providing a spark that the Warriors desperately needed. Um, it was they were up, I think, sorry. They were down by I think seven at halftime, but Anthony Edwards hadn't played very well to start the game. But at the same time, so I say that to say the Warriors were playing good defense, and at the same time, Jimmy Butler had one shot, or it was 1 point, like halfway through the second quarter, and it's just frustrating as a Warriors fan to watch him because he, like during the season, was getting to the line, was finishing around the rim, and of course, he and Steph, their contrast was working really well, and this series and this postseason sometimes he'll just get into the lane, he'll get really deep in there, and then he is not even looking at the rim, or he jumps up and passes out. And three times today at least, I was yelling at the screen for him to shoot the ball or asking, "What are you doing?" Like the game that we need some offense. Jimmy Butler is not not showing up. He's a no-show. We made sure that he had his joy back. We gave him the contract that he wanted. It looked like everything was working well, and then where has he been the last three games? I mean, I know he had a good quarter or a good half like in game three, but today is the one that we needed. And Steve Kerr even made sure that he had the rest from the first quarter that he could play almost a whole second half. And then to start the third quarter, he had a few bad turnovers, like one offensive foul, one turnover, and Anthony Edwards took hold of the moment, gripped it tight, and he went on an insane scoring barrage just himself. I think he outscored the Warriors 18-6, like in a 8 minute span, knocking down three after three. And it all started with at the end of the first half. There's 8 seconds left. Warriors are up. Warriors are up by like seven, eight. There's 8 seconds left. Anthony Edwards has the ball. You know he's gonna shoot it. Gary Payton is guarding him, and Draymond Green is showing as if he's double teaming him. And then Anthony Edwards makes a move to his right. Gary Payton goes with him, of course. Draymond, for some reason, also bites instead of staying on the left side. And then Anthony Edwards steps back and hits a long three, and that just lit the fuse. He took that momentum. He stole the momentum from the Warriors in that at the end of the first half, and he just carried on from there to start the third. And he put the Wolves up by 12 within it felt like a blink of an eye. And from there they never looked back. And the whole time I'm thinking, where's Jimmy Butler? What are you doing? You have the like Jonathan Kuminga can only take us this far, and he had the chances. He made some great plays, but he just chose not to finish them. I'm getting riled up because I'm sad that the Warriors aren't, I mean, coming down from 3-1 against a team that just beat you three times in a row, not easy. Steph Curry just needed someone to step up in the series and get him one more win so that he could potentially come back. we're probably not going to see him again. And Jimmy Butler, we traded for you, we paid you, made you feel at home. Like, can we get something for that, please? Like, these were the moments that we needed you for, and we didn't get it. So, all right, I'm gonna stop there before I get ugly. But um, really, the takeaway from today is Warriors. They're probably done. The Wolves going back to the Western Conference Finals, most likely. The Knicks are going back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Really cool for them and for New York. The Celtics, what are they going to do with Jason Tatum? I really hope that the injury report tomorrow is just not as bad as it looked, but it looked pretty bad, and I feel really bad for him. And then Giannis, is he going to be on the move? And then Cooper Flag potentially going to Dallas. They have the number one pick. Like, there's a lot up in the air right now, and I think the start of next season, these teams are going to look, there's going to be some momentous shifts in the NBA, and I'm excited. So I was really excited to watch basketball today and to talk about all this stuff. I'm a little bit disappointed, of course, Jason Tatum's injury and the Warriors season probably being over. But that's the life of a sports fan, and still wouldn't trade it for anything. We'll have another podcast for you shortly. All right, take it easy. Bye.